My name is Grant Browning, and I'm the founder of one of Toronto's largest Caribbean media groups. With over 20 years of branding and marketing, you can guarantee that I've met some pretty amazing people. My biggest pet peeve is hearing people refer to successful entrepreneurs as overnight successes. But the truth is, there are no overnight successes, just entrepreneurs. Real entrepreneurs with big dreams and a desire to make a difference. They're willing to overcome all the odds just for a chance to taste success. That's exactly what this show is about. Business, success, strategies, the dreams, the struggles, and the victories. We're here to pack a hard punch and knock our dreams into reality by bringing you real stories and experiences right here on The Gloves Are Off. Hey, this is Grant Browning, CEO and founder of Carib 101 Media Group, and we're here with another episode of The Gloves Are Off, and I have a very special guest here with me today. We have Andrew Guy, who is here all the way from Grimsby, Ontario. He is an author of 3 books and 1 to come. 1 is on the way. He's a consultant. He's into leadership training, personal development coach, and today we're going to learn everything there is to know about having your personal brand. So I hope you guys stay tuned through the whole episode, and be sure to post in the comments your thoughts and your comments, or you can call in live and chime in on the conversation. 647-931-4701. So Andrew, thank you very much for coming in.
You're welcome, my friend.
It's been an honest pleasure. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you got started?
Oh, my goodness. First, I just want to say thanks for the opportunity to be here.
Absolutely.
The studio looks amazing. You've done a wonderful job, and I think the next step is going to be even greater. All right? So for those of you guys that are tuning in today, I just want to say this show is going to be your breakthrough. Whatever you're going through, keep going through it, because today is your day. I want to send a quick shout out to my family at home, AJ and TJ, my sons, and my wife, Teresa. Thanks for making this day happen. All right. But to get to your question, really, I think starting out, really, a lot of people say in the field of education, you got to begin with the end in mind. Mm-hmm. But the end was already created before you got here.
Absolutely.
Okay. My name is Andrew E. Guy, and I'm the author of several books and some to come. But I got started a long time ago when I realized that I have a gift for reaching people. And in the field of education, you look at it, they will say something like, well, you got to reach before you can teach. But I believe that everyone have this gift, not only just to reach people, but to transform people. I lived in Toronto for several years, and I was doing comedy on the stage with Russell Peters and those guys at Yuck Yucks. And one of the things that I noticed about myself is that after I'm finished doing a bit, I would stop and just to inoculate my audience with some great takeaways that will transform their life.
For sure.
And people would come up to me and say, well, that's really good. I like that. Yes, I got the laugh because that was just a Band-Aid. But the stuff you gave us at the end. My start began when I decided to leave Toronto and go to the United States to school. Went to Southern Arkansas University, by the way, and majored in biology and exercise science. So I have a dual degree, and went off to do master's in kinesiology. But having doing that, I've gotten to realize that the gift of reaching and teaching and transforming people wasn't released. There were books inside me that I didn't even know about. Mm-hmm. I'm like, me writing a book, oh, please, come on, you know? And then the idea come to take my ideas that were in my head and write them and put them out so people can get access to it. But to come all the way back to answer your question, my goal is to develop people, to get them to understand the gifts that are inside of them so they don't go to the grave with them. You know, it was once said that the wealthiest place on earth is the graveyard. I no longer believe that. I believe that the wealthiest space is right here.
Thank you.
The wealthiest space is the person that you can touch. The wealthiest place on earth is the living, not the dead, because the dead cannot impact the world anymore. True. It's the living that can do that. And so me, what I do is I go into business and I talk to them about community. Community. What's so important about community? Community is everything that we are. Community is the hidden fabric I mean, threads that make up the fabric so we can wear the suit. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's the depth of everything. And that's what it's about. And my latest book really is just Power of Community. And our goal is really to get people to understand that when we come together, there isn't anything that we can do. We're unlimited.
Wow.
Unlimited.
Wow. Now, I know you also have had some personal struggles.
Yes.
That is what is making your story so great and
Right.
who you are today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
The stories, I will also say that before I begin, that everyone has a story, and some people will look at it, oh, I am a mess, you know, but it has been said that in your mess is your message. In your mess is your message. And, you know, the Bible said that we're overcome by the testimony. But when you tell your message, it is your testimony that helps to empower other people. If you never tell your mess, right, your message won't get out. And then people cannot overcome. Overcome and just let them know, listen, I've been through this. You're going to go through something too. And if you don't go through something like the diamond in the rough, a piece of coal, no one will wear the blame. You see what I'm saying? And so for me, my struggle really is about getting to where I am today, to understand who I was, what was trapped inside of me. Part of it started when I was a youth in Jamaica. Had a horrific childhood, really. And I didn't even tell you about this part. But I grew up with a group of individuals, I will just call it like that. And my mom left Jamaica when I was really, really young. She left in the wee hours of the morning, and I got up and she just wasn't there. Okay, she just left because she had to make a decision to do something for her 6 children. And sometimes you have to make the sacrificial move, almost like from a religious perspective, like Jesus on the cross. And she had to do that so I can be here today. But a long story short is that, you know, I went through a lot of abuse, you know, and if you don't know much about Jamaican family or Caribbean family, is that and the people who are in charge are not around, then who is left, you know, becomes the boss. And so that's what it means. But beaten every day, didn't go to school probably sometimes like 1 day a week and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to be anything. You're not going to amount to anything. Who are you to even dream? Most of my nights were spent on my back looking up in the, you know, the sky, looking at all the different airplanes and the shapes and say, my mom is coming back one day. 13 years later, she came back.
So she left without any explanation? Like you didn't
No, there
even
was
know
no.
she was leaving?
No.
Wow.
It wasn't any explanation. She left in the wee hours of the morning, and it was one of those situations where she just decided, I'm gonna take a leap of faith. I'm gonna get out, because if I don't leave this dilapidated house, both of us are gonna die. You understand what I mean?
And it was a pretty crazy house too, right?
It was crazy because one thing I noticed, that there was a huge crack inside the wall, and when she would pray, she would rest her hand on the wall. And because hurricane will come to Jamaica every now and again just to visit and say, how you doing? And he said, how you doing? I'm here, Gilbert, you know, and then leave. But she would lay a hand on the wall basically just to say, Lord, keep this wall up, because we slept on the bed, my brother and I, and had the wall just decided not to listen, or the prayer didn't get through, we wouldn't be here today. You see what I mean?
And it was a small house too.
A small, oh man,
Yeah.
the house leaned like this, you know. The house itself was ghetto because it was just leaning. And but she prayed, and to get to that part where we are today, where she left, came to Canada, and she cleaned houses, she washed dirty clothes, look after other people's children, everything that she can do, and saved up every bit of her money to take our 6 kids here. 1988, we were here, October 30th, and then we came here on the plane.
So she came back, and did she have explaining to do, obviously?
Or
did you get communication later on?
We got splaining. You know what I mean? She said, you know, it's like in the USA, you got some splaining today. You got splaining, but she explained that sometimes in life you got to make those difficult choices.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And if she didn't make those choices, I would not be here today. And that's what kind of culminated up to me being here today, my breakthrough. And when we left Jamaica, you know, let me back up. But she left us with some people, and, you know, the beating, the put down, the verbal abuse was there. And it's like, don't dream, your parents are not coming back. They're gone. I remember specifically, you know, we used to tote water and wood and stuff like that, you know, because if I didn't listen to that voice, we wouldn't be talking right now.
for sure.
You see
for
what I'm
sure.
saying? But you know, to fast forward to 1988, we left, we came here, and then we grew up in this area because they call it Jane and Finch. And I would like to say to the masses that Jane and Finch is really a name on a street, is not a person, is not a people, is not an area, is not an environment, it is not even a diagnosis of an individual. If I want to change history, I go and just take the signs off and I put so much of area, like people would call it. But I grew up in that area and I realized that I needed to do something to change my life. Went to Seneca College, majored in applied science, wasn't satisfied, wanted to get some more done in my life. So I took off, went to the US, got a scholarship to sing in the choir, and here I am today.
Wow.
But the other story that I know that you need to hear was that when I was going down, I didn't have any money. I didn't have any way to get there.
Now, when you say going down, you mean to the U.S.?
Yeah, from
Yeah,
Canada to
okay.
the U.S. I didn't have anywhere to go in terms of how to get there, transportation. I had a 1984 Volkswagen GTI, black on black, and I took it to this mechanic, and the mechanic said, if it makes it to the U.S., then I'll pay you. And sometimes all you need is a little challenge in life. Doesn't matter who you are, what you're going through. All you need is somebody to dare you. And I said, okay, on Seawell up there.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know where it is, right? And I took off all the parts. It took me a couple of days to, you know, curate all the parts, put them in the car, drag them back to the house, and started taking the thing apart. My mom looked down from the window, shook her head, and just... I looked up and I said, you know what? If you can leave Jamaica, clean toilets, and took us here, this is a small thing. This is a small thing. Put the car together and I said, Lord, I said, if this thing start, I'm going. Boom.